Hey Igor, nice to see you without a mask. I
Which
miss,
is great. My one is here.
yeah,
It's on a
yeah,
chain, so I can't lose it.
right.
Yeah,
I miss our hangs in New York.
so do
Uh,
I.
of course. Oh wait, sorry, this thing popped off. Let me just fix this. Yeah, I miss our hangs in New York. Of course, like you, I miss uh, playing music with other people and in front of people.
Yeah.
Both of us have had a presence on streaming and Facebook and things like that. Um, I think both of us early on felt like we wanted to offer something. Was that the spirit in which you began your daily kinds of concerts?
Well, first of all, as and it doesn't probably won't surprise you, I terribly miss our hangs too, and it's probably the single most saddening feeling for me is, ever since the pandemic actually began, is not be able to play. That's sort of one part of the story. The other part is literally not being able to go to the United States is something which I suffer greatly from. And this is, just to be there, to go there, not just to New York to see you, but not just that, but actually just to be there. Despite all, these are trips which help me to sort of refill my battery whenever I'm tired, and not being able to do it is really it's really sad, and I really miss being in the US. Now, to your question, it was one of the reasons was to give something to the people, to actually to create something in a time of anxiety and fear and insecurity, which is about to happen again, quite literally in 96 hours. Okay, we are back into lockdown in just a couple of days. So that was one part of it. The other part was, and I'm very frank and honest about it, was my very own mental stability. Because the fact to be able to, that I was able to play, yes, I didn't see the audience, but I knew that there are people who listen to me, and I couldn't care less whether there are 2 people or 35,000. Just that gave me a great deal of mental stability. So it went both ways. It was for the people and very much for myself.
Yeah, I've had a similar experience. Recently, I recorded a solo album here in my home in Pennsylvania.
Igor, can you get a little bit more back into the center of the frame? It's kind of moved.
Like that?
Yeah, like more like that. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the spirit of an offering, I made a solo album here in my living room in Pennsylvania. Just some songs that I hoped would bring a bit of joy. You have been a prolific recording artist. I have been a prolific recording artist. Even though people consume music in different ways, especially in my world, the jazz world, people tend to listen to tracks. But I believe you have faith in the idea of an album, of planning a menu, taking the listener on a particular journey that feels like the right thing during the moment that it was created. I shared with you, I was waiting in line in New York to vote the other day, which was really very inspiring, seeing all kinds of people waiting in line, doing their civic duty. And I had your new album on, and the chorale, the arrangements of the Bach chorales are a touchstone of my life. It just felt like, wow, this is just the right thing for now. And it felt very inspiring and inspired. And I know you, other than your, you know, complete works of this, that, or the other, you seem to, you know, put a tremendous amount of thought into what you're going to put on these two disc kind of recital programs. I mean, what's your process there?
Well, we share this idea about an album very much. Absolutely, we do. I mean, I always thought since the very beginning, since I made my very first recording, of which I knew that it's going to be released. So there, I went into this. I walked into a studio once in, I don't know, 2007, and I recorded something which never got released, and I'm quite happy about it. Anyway, I always thought that the recording should not be a concert which you accidentally recorded, right? I think that's a big mistake many people do. Like they think that, oh, it's just a recital put on a, you know, on a disc. That shouldn't be that's really not the point. And so usually I would record an album focused on one composer. So that's how I started. I started with Beethoven only, then I continued with Bach only, then I continued with a 3-disc set, but each disc was sort of dedicated to one composer. So it was Bach, Beethoven, and Frédéric Rzewski. The first exception came when my best friend died, and I recorded the live album. So that was more of a conceptual thing. Then came again, you know, the cycle of the Beethoven sonatas. And my plan was, my original plan was not to record at all for at least 2-3 years. Because I thought, you know what, you know, I just recorded the 32 Beethoven sonatas. I kind of deserved some time off. Because I spent, I don't know, 1.5 years in the recording studio for these Beethoven sonatas. I've seen it. I mean, like, I've seen enough. It was right there. And then the pandemic hit all of us, and I started playing the house, you know, streaming my house concerts. And forgive me this lengthy response, but this is of great importance to me, because whether you realize it or not, and you will surely know, a great part of why I did the house concerts and why I enjoyed playing them so much artistically was also the conversations you and I had so many times. I mean, you will remember, I always had this dream of just, you know, doing whatever I wanted to do, right? I just feel like I want to do this, I'll just do it. I want to play like that, I'll just do it. Which, for obvious reasons, rarely works in the world I live in, where I have to, you know, to plan certain programs 2 years in advance. It's ridiculous. You know, people are telling you how important it is to have free artists, but then sort of the reality is actually quite the opposite of it. And so there we are in the pandemic. We don't make any money. Everything's gone. All concerts are off. But on the other side, I thought, hang on, there are no guardrails. Nobody's telling me what to do. Nobody is here. There are no rules but my rules. So I thought, wow, I can actually live my artistic dream. So that was absolutely phenomenal. And in one of these house concerts, I played a piece by Morton Feldman, right, the Palais Marie. And I mean, I didn't have a camera, right? All I had was this thing, right? That's it. That's how good it sounded. But it was all about gesture. It was all about just making music for the people and for myself. And so after the Feldman performance of all pieces, a woman wrote me a letter, and she said that she's never, obviously, she's never heard of Morton Feldman. She's never heard a piece by Morton Feldman. But this piece, which was just about sound, no agenda, no form, nothing, just one note, next chord, just space, gave her a feeling of a chance of encountering herself and her own feelings, which was quite unique to her. And that was sort of the kickoff when I thought, hang on, there's something happening here, and why don't I just record the Feldman? When will I ever get the chance to actually find a great studio which is empty because everything was canceled, and just make a recording? And so I came up with these pieces where I thought they just give the listener the chance to, well, experience your very own emotions without a certain agenda. And boom, here we are. And then the album came out. And so I really go with the flow with what I would like to record. But my recordings usually are not, let's say, I don't record something in order to be able to tour this program. I record something because I would like to, to make this recording possible. And then I go from there. But it's really whatever occurs to me, and boom, that's it. And now then there's this recording.
Well, you and I have talked about this. I'm a jazz pianist, so I get on the stage and I don't have to plan a program 5 minutes in advance. I can say, what do I feel like? And that's what I play. And there's a great freedom in that. Ironically, I am most comfortable making live recordings because of the energy of the audience, and also when I'm in front of the microphones, or if I have to wear headphones with a group, I get very self-conscious. And so the difference is film acting, when you can do multiple takes, and then stage acting, where you're just reacting. If you fluff a line, you improvise. And
correct.
Music like Feldman's, which is just sound and emotion, seemingly random but not, is a place that as an improviser I love to dwell as well. And just to say that we met, I don't know how many, I feel like I've known you forever, but it's been 3 or 4 years. You heard me play at the Village Vanguard in New York, and you said, I'm in town for a few days, can I come and hang out? And then we spent the afternoon, and then the next afternoon. And even though we work in different mediums, we have so much in common about the way that we look at life, recording, and also what we're going through now, just having part of our identity just taken away. And we have
Look, I will never forget, I was sitting in your apartment and I asked you, so what is going through your head when you improvise? And you said something which I honestly will never forget. That you said that, well, I sit at the piano and I play a note, and then I play the next note, and I like it. And when I like it, and I like the path I'm on, I continue on that path. So I play the next note, and I play the next one, and I enjoy it. And then I play the next one, and if I don't enjoy it, fair enough. So I change the path, and then I go, a different direction. And I thought, oh wait, wow, that sounds actually really plausible to me. And I can't really explain this, because in the end, most of the times what I play is being written down by somebody else. But since this pandemic, to be honest, since these house concerts, since the experience of absolute and total artistic freedom, the absolute sort of freeing from all of these questions, like, is my piano good? Does it sound good? How's the acoustic? Does anybody cough? Is a phone ringing? Doesn't matter. All I had was my living room, my piano, the phone, and the people in their homes or wherever they were. So it all came down to the very essential thing, which is music itself. How, and I think also this is what you also said, told me, and please remind me, was your teacher who said music is sound and rhythm, right? That's what rhythm, yeah.
Sound in rhythm.
Sound and rhythm. Boom, you have this, and if I add a rhythm to it, you've got a musical idea. So right. It all came down to that. And since I experienced that, I was able to you know, to play a couple gigs on stage again in front of people, really this inner freedom I kind of managed to keep. So today, when I play a Beethoven sonata or any other piece, which again has been written down by somebody else, I sit there on stage. I can't really explain how that works, but even with notes which are written down, that's exactly the feeling. I just sit there and think, okay, this chord sounds good. Yeah, let's try the next one. Oh yeah, let's try the next one. And sort of the level of freedom I enjoy right now is quite new and quite unique to me. And so there's this bizarre sort of schizophrenic feeling that the times we go through, and we had this very long phone conversation about that, are as grim as only possible, and are difficult and are awful, artistically in our world, politically, not to speak about it. Like, you know, you're surrounded by bad news. But then there is this other side of the medal, which is that there is something unbelievably beautiful and new I had the chance to experience the last 7 months. And no matter what is going to happen now in future, this feeling I will keep like my own and nourish like my own eyeball, because this is something I've never, ever, ever had before. Never.
Well, I mean, you have the gift of making us hear a piece that we've heard a million times in real time in a new way. And as you know, growing up, you know, I joke that during this pandemic, I'm lucky I don't play the trombone.
Yeah.
We do play an instrument that's self-sufficient, which is a bonus.
Right.
And you know, my limited playing through my lifetime of what we loosely call classical music, you know, has taught me in my somewhat inept way how difficult it is to be compelling, maybe to take the spirit of what I do as an improviser and really try to tell a story with sound, with rhythm, and in real time, and also to get out of the way of the music, to let the music tell its story, and to serve it in a way is you know, I not putting words in your mouth, but I think that's what we're going for, and it should be different every time you play it, even if the notes are the same. It's a different piano, it's a different night, you had a different thing for dinner. You feel differently about a piece now than you did when you were 17. You know, it's you know, we are privileged to be able to still find the will and the joy in creating, and even if it's not in front of people, or in my case, with the stimulation of other musicians, you know, we can't give this up. If we give this up, then
You're
every
done.
bad wins, and
Yeah.
I don't want to give up, you know,
On that.
music. I don't want to surrender. You know, I want to.
I mean, this is really this is really the bottom line of this time for me, that this is an exhausting time. It is exhausting. And yes, I am tired. But no matter how tired I am, when I'm alone at home and I just touch my keyboard, I just touch it, and I just make boom, and it just, there's an out of tune E flat. I don't care. And I hear it. That it's like, you know, lying down in the most comfortable bed imaginable. It's like it's really it's above relaxation. It's like that's holding me together. It's really holding me together. And you know, I'm making music all my life, but this feeling is, even for me, is new. Like, you know, I went through phases. I had this phase or that phase. I would politicize music, or I would do this with music. I would do that with music. Since this year, it really became, again, mentally, physically, health-wise, absolutely existential, just not to play a Beethoven sonata, but actually just to press down the keys and hear something which comes out. And I don't care. I could just bang on the keyboard with my forearm. Doesn't matter. Something comes out, and this gives me halt, and it gives me stability. And on the other side were the people who, when I was streaming, and I'm sure you got very similar reactions, actually felt the same. And we will survive this. This is for sure. I mean, until someone said, so an old friend of mine, who's an old friend of mine, and B, a very old man, told me the other day something very simple and weirdly simple, but very true. He said, as long as we live, we live. So there's no other choice, you wake up in the morning. As long as we are not dead, we are alive. And so things will go on in one way or the other. But, I'm sitting there at home and pressing down the keys and it just, honestly, it just saves me. And this is, to feel it that intensely, this is really, really, really new to me, and quite astonishing, given the fact that I've been playing the piano ever since. But this feeling is very new.
Yeah, well, to find the feeling just from the sound. I mean, the difference between us is I'm composing spontaneously in real time. You may be playing something that's previously organized, but finding that actual feeling in the sound, it does feel like home. I just turned 65. I've been playing since I was 4, so that's a lot of years. And still, most of the time when I sit down, I experience some degree of joy. I mean, some days your hands don't work as well as others, but honestly, I don't have to play perfect double thirds. I
can't play perfect double thirds too. That's why I don't play pieces where there are double thirds.
Right.
And
I mean,
long octave passages. I just don't do it.
Yeah, we can avoid the things that are super uncomfortable or difficult. There's a lot of music out there to be played, and I think both of us, I would say, feel some kind of sacred responsibility about it, and some deep inner joy from being able to share music with other people,
Correct.
especially in this very dark time.
Correct. And I really, and you know what, tomorrow, just to round this up, finally, after 8 months, finally, I got my appointment to renew my US visa. Believe it or not, it only took 8 months to get this bloody appointment. So I'm getting my visa, and no matter if I will play, I'm sure there won't be any concerts, but very latest end of January, I hope, after a new US president has been inaugurated, I really hope, I'll come to the States, and then I hope to see him. That's very much needed.
Yes. Well, congratulations on this super well-deserved honor.
Thank you.
And we both got to keep doing what we're doing, right?
Right. And I will give you a call on this weekend, if I may.
All right. Igor, be
Take
well.
care.